Picture a bright morning on the first day of second grade. The classroom buzzes with excitement as children look around for preferred seats and for familiar faces. My young and innocent self is amongst these children, filled with anticipation but also nervousness for the year ahead. The teacher eventually begins marking attendance. It goes smoothly until she makes an abrupt stop. I know what's coming. Sunbin Kim? Yep, that's me. I smile uneasily and correct her quietly. It's actually pronounced Sunbin, but you can go ahead and call me David. In such moments as a young student, I couldn't help but feel a twinge of self-consciousness. My roots stretched from the culture-rich city of Seoul, South Korea, to the vibrant and diverse city-state of Singapore. And yet, I went by the name David to make things simpler. I so deeply wanted to have an identity that I could call mine, but that privilege seemed unavailable to me. Today, I want to share with you my journey, a story that delves deep into the complexities of one's identity. So let's embark on this voyage together, exploring the twists and turns of life as a third culture kid. So, what exactly is a third culture kid? Coined by American sociologist Ruth Hillusim, the term TCK refers to people who have spent their formative years in places that are not their parents' homeland. While there are definitely some overlaps with immigrants, TCKs often live in a country knowing that they will have to leave one day, and this presents us TCKs with a unique set of challenges that often involve constantly adapting, embracing new cultures, and ultimately finding a sense of self that transcends all borders. My journey as a TCK began when I moved to Singapore in 2010. Before I was even old enough to utter the word Korean, I was plunged into a foreign world in which the only Koreans that I saw regularly were my parents and my siblings. As I began attending an American international school, I found myself increasingly distancing myself from most aspects of my own culture. Despite my unmistakable Korean roots, I often flinched at the sight of K-pop and K-drama, whilst also blatantly claiming that Korean food did not treat my taste buds well. On the other side of the spectrum, however, I also found myself finding it difficult to embrace my host country's culture. Singlish, the unique blend of Chinese, Malay, and English, an integral part of Singaporean culture, was merely noise to me, and I was intimidated by hawker center food stalls. I believe that this was my defense mechanism, and potentially one that many TCKs have earlier on in their journey, as they grapple with the difficulties of being part of so many different cultures. My journey, however, took an unexpected turn when my family decided to move back to Seoul in 2015. I was devastated. I was so convinced that everything in my home country was foreign. Walking down the streets of Seoul, emblazoned by blinding billboards with illegible characters, being unable to have a conversation with natives for over 5 minutes, I felt so utterly small and helpless. Yet again, I found refuge in another international school, seeking people who could relate, looking for a comfort zone in which I did not have to worry about my identity. And for a while, it worked extremely effectively. In this tiny little bubble of students and faculty that resembled my previous community in Singapore, I did not need to worry. I felt at complete ease. However, I would soon need to come to terms with my own culture. My first wake-up call came during a Myeongjeol, a Korean traditional holiday. It was my first time experiencing such a big celebration, as I'd always been overseas during this time of the year. The entirety of my extended family were at my grandparents' house, and quite frankly speaking, I was overwhelmed. I intentionally distanced myself from my Korean native cousins, and I kept close to my siblings and my parents as much as possible. On my way out, however, I heard something that would change my life. I heard my uncles talking to each other, and one of them was saying, if he's Korean, he should know how to speak Korean. Exactly. How is he unable to make basic conversation? They were most definitely talking about me. And yes, I did want to get angry. But unfortunately, everything that they were saying was undeniable. Yes, I was Korean. I had Korean parents. I had a jade green Korean passport. And now I was even living in the capital of the country, Seoul. There was no reason why I could not speak Korean. And then it dawned on me. It had been me all along. I had been the one to reject Korean culture, and I had been the one to reject Singaporean culture. Ironically, my two quote-unquote international comfort zones had manifested themselves into xenophobia against the two countries that represented my identity most, Korea and Singapore. And so, I no longer felt comfortable speaking English on a daily basis when I could not even speak my native language in my native country. The tiny little comfort zone that I had previously was no longer comfortable to me. And so, I made a big decision. I asked my parents to move me to Korean school for a while, and I was genuinely proud of my decision. I thought that it was the best for me. I could truly learn what it meant to be Korean. Little did I know the struggles that I would face as I attempted to embrace my own culture. When I first attended Korean school, first day of school, I still remember my introduction and the soul-piercing stares that I got from my peers. I would hear whispers every day. He's different. How is he so bad at Korean? And it was very painful, but I believe that this was a much-needed lesson. I had been rejecting Korea and its culture for years. There was no reason why Korea would welcome me with open arms now that I wanted to be part of its community. However, I did persevere. After months of sitting in my English teacher's classroom without friends, I did find friends of my own, and I gained acceptance. And during this time of struggle, I realized that being a TCK did not just mean learning the language. I realized that embracing my culture was not limited to learning my language, but also understanding the customs, traditions, and values deeply ingrained into the fabric of Korean society. And so I took this challenging period and began to learn Korean history. I sat down with my grandma as she made kimchi. I watched her, I learned. And in this process, I also grew to enjoy some K-pop songs. Yes, hello Korea for the first time. It was a process of redefining my identity as a third culture kid. And then life took another turn. My family decided to return to Singapore in 2019. But this time, it felt like a new beginning. With xenophobia no longer by my side, I could fully appreciate and immerse myself in my new yet familiar home. I now, enrolling in a local international school, have made so many Singaporean friends and have immersed myself as much as possible in the Singaporean culture. I now understand, I now find no difference between three and tree, and I know about the versatility of the word can, which can range from an aluminum bottle to a sign of approval, or even potentially a question. I also go to hawker centers and chope my seeds proudly and enjoy all the shiok foods that I can find there. So, as I finish off, I am proud, knowing that labels and nationalities can only capture a fraction of the truth. I am Korean and Singaporean, yet I am neither. I am a third culture kid, a blend of cultures and experiences that defy categorization. I must say, growing up as a third culture kid was not an easy task. I often did not know where I belonged, and I often had to leave my friends as soon as I made them. Yet, I believe that this process of constantly adapting and understanding new cultures has made me the person I am today. Thank you.